Yeah. Jerk off, Juggernaut. Wait, did Rackets just say something about going to whatever pod? Please, Rackets, do that and roast these 304s. I can't stand modern college types. I agree, dude. I completely agree with you, Jerk off. 100%. They need the full force of masculinity. The issue is with those shows is I feel like they intentionally vet women, and if the woman is like in any way, shape, or form like intelligent, they're like, nope, you can't come on. I just feel because they're all so damn stupid.
I don't know if they do. My understanding is the women that they recruit basically like sign up to go into the podcast. And so you're probably self-selecting in that particular way. Yeah. So it's like the woman who wants to go on that show to represent, I'll say hoe culture, even though like that's not what they're thinking, right? But they want to represent like these young, attractive women who are out, and they're gonna fix the whatever guy or his guest, right? Like that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be the one to make the good point. And if that's your perspective, I think you're fucking toast.
Yeah, because they always go on and they say the same shit. Because you know how like the number one question is like, what do you have to offer this man that makes $1 million a year? And they're always like, loyalty and my personality. And it's like, did you even watch this shit before you came on? Because you're about to get wrecked. Your asshole will never make a fart again. It'll be no sounds coming out your ass because you're about to get wrecked immediately if you say some stupid shit like that. As if there is 6 billion of y'all asses floating around. Come on now.
Yep.
Laughing Eyes says, I'm tired of hearing about from those channels that I'm worthless because I'm over 40. So to clarify I agree with that. Yeah. To clarify that, the issue is it's the conversation in itself. So they're not saying that women over 40 or 27 are worthless. They're saying they don't have value in the top tier dating market. That's what they're saying, but it's never prefaced with that. And even though that's what I understand, because I understand what the conversation is, a lot of people will jump in and it's like, oh, you're 28. Why would anybody be with you? And it's like, well, a millionaire guy won't be with you is what they're saying. But who's going to get the millionaire guy? No one.
Here's the thing. And people confuse the top tier dating market as an objective top tier dating market.
Yeah.
But they're talking about a very specific subset of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're talking about middle age or even younger men. So like in their late 30s to early 50s is kind of the demographic range.
Yep.
Who are extremely successful.
Yes.
You're talking about they make millions of dollars a year or they have millions of dollars in the bank. They have their own property. They're not in significant debt. They probably don't have, like, if they do have a divorce under their belt, they're not dying from that divorce. They're not struggling anymore. So what are they looking for? I mean, if what you bring to the table is, well, I can cook okay, it's like, well, they can hire a chef. I have a job and a PhD. They don't need your income. What they need and what these girls don't get is like, and they don't need a hot girl because there's another hot girl.
Yeah.
What they really want and need is an actual companion who is pleasing to be around.
That's it.
And that's what these girls like. They're always looking for the thing that they can offer. And the thing that they can offer really is, do you connect with this person? The problem is, if you're 21, broke chick whose entire identity is being hot, you're going to have a hard time connecting someone who built a fucking business, worked his ass off, sacrificed a huge chunk of his young adult life, didn't go out and party, didn't do all this stuff. And he just worked and he made it happen. And if you're like, well, I went out and partied and banged like 50 dudes, he's like, yeah, I don't relate to that. And I don't want to hear your stories about all the cock that went through your mouth. Like that just isn't appealing. Now, if that's your identity and that's what you're doing, that's not going to be of high value. If your identity lies somewhere else and you can offer that companionship and an interesting travel companion, especially if you're talking to someone who's going across the globe, someone that will be on their arm, but also be with them, experience things together. That's the shit. I mean, that's what Lady Rackets and I do. Like, I love bringing her places because we get to go do stuff together. And there's if it was some other hot chick, we probably wouldn't have any fun.
Right.
Like, aside from, oh, you bang it out in the hotel room and then what do you do the rest of the time? I like to sit down next to my wife and just talk to her. You know, that's what these guys want. They want companionship.
They want companionship and peace. That's pretty much it.
Yes.
And the issue is, you know, like what they say is when you get home, you don't want the first, after a long day of stress, you don't want the first thing you do to get home is your lady in your face saying, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, I'm pissed at you, we need to talk about this. That's not bringing peace.
Yep.
And that's pretty much, and somebody that's pleasant to be around and just fun to be around. That's it. That's like all that. Men are simple, except the issue is all these women, 95% of them are combative all the time because they've been brought up in this generation to where they have to be combative. They have to be combative to be successful. They also have to go to school. They have to get a high profile job now, or they think they do. They've been told they were supposed to. So you develop a personality that makes you kind of an asshole, and you're not really compatible to be with a man. Now, a man in that same situation has a high profile job, he is very compatible to be with a woman. That's the difference. Now, all you have to do is bring peace. I get home and you're like, hey, did you have a good day? Yeah, not really. You know, you sit down, they fluff your pillow and like, you know, suck on your toes a little bit, and then you're good to go. And
Dude,
then Nick, after she sucks your toes and you're good to go, you relax for 20 minutes. You can be like, all right, let's hit these chores together. Now, it doesn't mean she does everything. It just means she brings you that peace, and that's it. You know,
dude. I said that I went on a drunken tirade about this so many months ago, and like I was like, oh fuck. The next day, after you have a really drunk show, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
but
dude.
I started getting emails from a bunch of women who watched it, and they're like, thank you. You reminded me, because what I said was this: all we want on earth is that when we walk through the door, you see us and you're happy that it's us.
Yeah,
like that. It's really that simple. And you know, you're just there and you're like, hey, I'm so glad you're home. And then you get exactly what you're saying. The guy sits down for a minute, you get a little bit of peace, and then you can do whatever comes next. You get to hear about their day, but you've got to deprogram. You were likely on a damn phone call pulling into the fucking driveway if you're a busy dude anyway. And you don't have to be a millionaire for that. I mean, dudes out there, fuck, when I was at Thrivent, I was still making like 35 grand a year. I was taking phone calls for work on the way home because your job just never fucking leaves. It's just how our culture is these days. And so it's like, you just need that. And I want to address one thing in the chat. Oh, holy hell says, but you met in your 20s though. Yes, me and Lady Raggets met in our 20s. But what I'm telling you is that as a 41-year-old man who has achieved relatively good levels of success, if Lady Raggets doesn't exist, I need someone who fits what she does. Now, we built that over 20 years. And with these girls who are 20 years old and looking for a millionaire, and that's a critical element, these girls are looking and believe they deserve a guy who makes $500K to $1 million a year. They need to be able to step immediately into that companionship role because that's what that guy is looking for. And he'll go through 22-year-olds until he finds the hot one who can do it. And if you're not that one, you're never going to make it. But these girls are like, well, I look good in a swimsuit. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
It's like, you know how many of those there are? There's like 100,000 of y'all to the one guy that's rich. That's the issue. Like, you're not bringing anything to the table. And it's they think, you know, oh, well, I'm cool to be around. What they don't understand is if you've been attractive your whole life, you've been popular, everybody's liked you, you've been like coddled because you're an attractive woman. Let's be honest, if you're an attractive woman, chances are you're going to be coddled your whole life. Once you get to
unless you're recently attractive.
Yeah. if you're 21, 22, I'm sorry, without strife, you likely haven't built a personality to bridge that gap. I was a fat kid my whole life, obese. So to fit in with the kids at school, I really leaned into my personality, and I've, you know, always been kind of goofy and crazy and jokey and stuff. And that kind of became who I was, and it's who I am now. And I can't turn that shit off, right? But I developed that personality because I had to do something to fit in with these people. Now I'm not a fat kid anymore. So when women meet me, they're like, wow, you're way different than all these other guys because you're not afraid to just fucking like twerk in the middle of the goddamn McDonald's and shit. No one cares. You're really cool. You don't care. You just want to be yourself. And I'm like, well, that's just how I am. And they're like, oh my God, I haven't met a guy like you ever. And I'm like, what? I'm just the normal ass dude. Like, that's the issue is these women, these women haven't developed a personality. Therefore, man, I will take a 7.5 that is peaceful to be around, that is 26, 27 years old. I don't give a damn. And she's just kick ass. She has a good personality and I can talk to her. I'll take that over a girl that's brain dead and smooth brained all day, but she looks good in a bikini. Dude, I don't give a fuck. Shit, who gives a damn? Wicked Virtue, speaking of looking good in bikinis, how you doing, movie? Thank you so much. Slag Lust says, you mean while in Vegas, you didn't act like Ralph and get a cheap hooker while texting other YouTubers begging them to hook up because you got money at the bank?
Oh, God, no.
It kind of sounds, I kind of want to have a Ralph Vegas trip where I bank cheap hookers.
Ooh.
Thank you, Slag Lust.